We were doing a lot of convoy security.
Mm-hmm.
We were infantry, but we were tasked as more or less military police. PTSD is a real thing, and I'd kind of like to raise awareness about that because a lot of my Marine Corps, brothers and people that I've served with, are, oh man, I don't deserve anything from them. I don't deserve nothing, but you don't realize, how that affects you, just the conditioning. I was like the comedic relief. I'm a comedian at heart, that's what I tell people. It's like, I'm a comedian, I'm a serious motherfucker, and I'm a magician, but really at heart, I like to cut up. I like to have fun. Supposedly there's more miles under the, city of Paris in the catacombs than there are miles of street above ground. Cause it's so many layers, but in the last podcast, they asked me if there was any magician or any celebrity that you would like to meet. And I said, well, just to meet or to meet and make friends with. And they said, well, to meet and make friends with. And I said, well, that'd be David Blaine.
Hey guys, I'm Si. Welcome to H Podcast Nation presents My Story. This is now our third series. And as I've said many a time now, what I love about this series is no matter what people do, they've got a story to tell. As you know, Ace Podcast Nation, home to many great shows and original series featuring top guests, expert analysts, and more. So please do check us out on YouTube. And of course, if you prefer your podcast in audio form, then check us out at the Sports Social Podcast Network, which is the UK's first and only, I think, all sports podcast network. You can check out all of our shows there, including My Story, and they'll be on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, all the usual places. But let's get into it straight away. I'm delighted to be joined from across the pond by a podcaster, an author, and of course, a magician. It is Alex Christopher Johnson. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well, man. Si, thank you so much for having me on your show.
No, I'm really looking forward to it. It's a bit of a change of pace. My first magician.
All right.
However, I am
first, man. Always number one.
That's it, mate. That's it. I'm a massive fan of like magic and illusions and stuff like that. I always have been. It drives my wife insane because I quite often will get lost in like YouTube or something. Just looking. I start with one trick or something. Quite often it starts with I'll kind of see a trick, like on a show or a clip or something, and I've got to know how it's done. So I start with that, and then before I know it, it's like an hour, 2 hours later, and I've just been sat there watching magic tricks and all sorts of stuff. But with these shows, mate, I'd really like to just start them off by taking people right back to the beginning. So sort of tell us a bit about your upbringing, where you're from, where did it all begin for AJ?
All right, man. That's such an open-ended question. There's so much to say, but I grew up East Tennessee, on a farm. I grew up on a cattle farm, tobacco farm. So, as a little kid, I can remember walking behind the tobacco setter, and planting, and fixing the tobacco plants as they're going and working, in the field, working in the barn, grading tobacco. There's just so much to my story. No one's ever really asked me that. So first off, thank you for, asking me about, where I came from. I've traveled the world a lot. I've lived in a few different countries, from Iraq, in the Marine Corps, to Ukraine, also in the Marine Corps. I graduated college. I lived overseas in Taiwan. I lived in Taipei, Taiwan for 2 years, in Sanchong and Luzhou, which is both in New Taipei City. There I met some magicians, that's getting ahead of myself though. So help me break it down a little bit. What specifically do you want to know?
So I'm kind of interested in all of what you just said. Like, it's really interesting to me, obviously. Tell me a bit about like you as a child, as a teenager. What were you interested in? Was magic something that was always an interest, or was that something you developed later in life? What were you good at? What were you, sports, things like that? Like, what were you like as a teenager?
The previous podcast that I was on, which was called Mike Time with Marty, right? Mm-hmm. He helped unjog, some memory with me about, when I started magic, because I thought that it was, a little bit later. I thought that it was around 2003, whenever we went on a family trip to Las Vegas. But come to find out, after, my memory being jogged, I remember learning my first card trick probably about 5 years old. My grandfather taught me. Wow. Just a little silly thing to where you go through the cards and you say stop. And I'm a magician, so I'm not going to reveal how it works, right?
Yeah.
But then he would always pick the right card. And as a kid, that blew my mind, and he wouldn't tell me. He wouldn't tell me. It took, several attempts. I'm like, Papa, you have to tell me how you do this. But every time, I would get it wrong, trying to guess the card, and he would be right. He would go, boop. Here we go. He'd be like this, pow, and he'd be on the nose, And I had to learn that trick. So that was the very first thing that I ever learned, probably about 5 years old. And then my grandmother, she bought me a cups and balls routine from like one of the Books A Million type, big, commercial bookstores in the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And then Las Vegas. And so I've always did, magic off and on. My dad taught me a simple coin vanish,
Yeah.
But as a kid, I played football for a little while, and I broke my arm. And I also play guitar. I'm a musician, guitar, banjo, didgeridoo, even had a bagpipe at one point in my life. So I broke my arm playing football, and I had to make the decision. Actually, the decision was very easy. Fuck a bunch of football. Can I cuss on this show?
Yeah, carry on.
All right,
Yeah,
I didn't know if this is trying to be super family friendly, but
no.
So I broke my arm playing, football backyard, and I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. And I was always athletic, So I did martial arts, and I got my black belt whenever I was like 16 or 17, black belt with a white stripe. Then after that, I joined the Marine Corps, and I served 4 years in the United States Marine Corps infantry, right? I was 0311. Basically, I tell people that I was a bullet sponge because that's what they called us. But I will have to say I was a very bad bullet sponge because I never once got shot. The only time I got shot was not whenever I was in the military.
Wow. What was it like? What was the decision like to join the Marine Corps? Is that something that you'd kind of thought about for a while? Is this something which was quite an easy decision, or?
See, I grew up playing, Army as a kid. We were little redneck kids, out in the woods. I lived in a very small town, about 1,200 people. And so we would shoot each other with BB guns. We'd play, instead of hide and go seek, we'd play hide and go kill. So that's where you hide, in the barn or out in the woods and have a BB gun. Your buddy tried to find you, like, boom, motherfucker. So that's how, I kind of grew up, playing stuff like that. And I'd always wear my grandfather's Air Force uniform. He was in the Korean War. And then his brother was in the Army. He was in the Army Air Corps before the invention of the Air Force. And he was in World War II. So I would wear his uniforms over at his place, and I'd wear my grandfather's uniforms over at my mom and dad's house. And so I always grew up around a military family. And my uncle, he was the only person in my family that was in the Marine Corps. And I was in high school. I knew I wasn't disciplined enough to graduate high school and go straight into college, right? And I was like, I have to do it. I didn't want to have any regrets in my life. And I knew that if I didn't do it, then I would end up regretting it, right?
Yeah.
And so I just went in. I was supposed to go in for what's called NBC, which is nuclear, biological, chemical. I was wanting to be like the nuke guy, and they didn't have an opening available. So I have to stay in the delayed entry program for about 6 months for that, slot to be available just to go to boot camp. And my recruiter was like, there's an opening for infantry. If you want to do that, you'll be in Iraq within 6 months after you get out of boot camp. And I was like, all right, send me to Iraq. So that's a good summary.
What's boot camp like then in the Marine Corps? Like, is it as brutal as this? Like, it's in some films, it's portrayed as quite a brutal experience because obviously they got to prepare you for worst case scenarios, and you got to have a certain mentality to get through that. Was that something which was difficult?
I can remember my first. We call them humps, right? Instead of a hike, they called it a hump because a hike, generally speaking, is leisurely stroll. But a hump, you got to step it out. You got to, kick your ass. You got to go. And we had our assault packs, which is like a backpack, right? Just a normal ass backpack. And they were filled with all of our gear. Not much weight, maybe at max, maybe 30 pounds. I don't remember exactly how much everything weighed. But so we stepped it out on our first hump, which is like about 3 miles. But it wasn't like a leisurely stroll, it was like, a brisk, fast walk. And I can remember after finishing that, I was about dead. At this time, I just turned 18. So I was in decent shape for an 18-year-old, And I remember that first hump about killed me. And they built us up to where our final one was this might have been at ITB, which is the infantry training battalion. I think that the final one we did was 20 clicks, so 20 kilometers. Okay. So we did a 20-kilometer, hump, all up and down mountains, carrying about 120 pounds of gear. And then as soon as we finished, it took all night long. We didn't get any sleep because it rained and somebody lost their PEC-16, which is a laser sight, for M16 A4 surface rifle. So they lost that, and we weren't able to sleep that night. And then we had to finish, the hump out. And then I remember as soon as we finished, we had to run 5 miles. As soon as that was over with, we dropped everything. We got down to boots and utilities, which is just, your pants and your boots and a tank top shirt, and not a tank top, but just a t-shirt and your M16. We had to run 5 miles immediately after. So it's like 17 miles total. So we started this off at 3 miles and we finished at running, 17 more or less.
Just making me tired just thinking about running that.
The other day I couldn't sleep, and so I decided I was going to go for a jog around my apartment complex here, and I ended up running 6 miles before sunrise the other day. Not running, but a mixture of jogging. Yeah. And so I'm 32 now, and I've been lazy after I got out of the Marine Corps, and I was like, man, no more PT for me. And then as drinking, growing up, gaining a little bit of weight. I'm like, fuck, man, I got to kick my ass, I got to discipline myself. So I'd make myself, just keep going.
It's easy to fall out with a habit of like exercise and stuff like that. But actually, if you keep in that habit or you get back in the habit, it makes you feel so much better.
I felt great after that was over with, but
100%. Like, I had a car accident back in 2008, which means I walk with like a walking stick now.
Oh shit!
Because I've got like a spinal fusion and all shit to my back and my leg. And one of the things that I miss, because I'm an early riser, so I get up at like 5 o'clock every day. And one of the things that I miss, so I get up at 5 o'clock every day and I drink coffee and smoke for like an hour or so and just let myself wake up or whatever. But like, what I would like to be doing, there's a beautiful lake just round probably like a 5-minute drive from my house, which I would love to just go there every morning at 5 o'clock and run around that. And unfortunately, it's not to be anymore. But I say to my children now all the time, because they're teenagers, and I say to them, just make the most of it, because you just don't know. Like, I went through, a good 30 years of kind of taking a lot for granted. And then all of a sudden, I had everything sort of flipped upside down. So it's, I tell people all the time, like, especially my kids, just don't take for granted the little things. And sometimes, like I said to my wife a lot, that lake, which is 5 minutes from my house, is beautiful. And if we went away for like a family trip or something, that's the sort of place that we would go to visit and have a walk around and stuff. Mm-hmm. But it's 5 minutes from our house and we barely ever go there, because you just become, it's always been there.
Kills is what the Marine Corps always said. Complacency kills.
Yeah, 100%. So you went to the Marine Corps. Did you see like a lot of action during that time, or was it like a fairly, I'm trying to think of the years, you said up to 2011.
2009. We were the last Marine Corps infantry battalion to be pulled out of Iraq. So we were the last Marine Corps infantry battalion to leave Iraq. We were doing a lot of convoy security. Mm-hmm. We were infantry, but we were tasked as more or less military police. Convoy security. So there'd be one vehicle here, and then there'd be, tractors and trailers. And then I can't remember the exact, spacing, but there'd be one military vehicle here. And then I think it might have been 7 miles behind. There'd be another military vehicle. Wow. It might have been less than that, but I know it was, a long ass gap, right? There was one Vic hit an IED, and it blew up. They had a mine roller on it, right? So a mine roller, it was up armored MRAP, okay? And then in the front of it was like a trailer, okay? And so it's pushing this way, and it hits the IED, blew that thing up and went on top of the vehicle. Nobody was hurt in that, situation. I personally didn't have to shoot nobody, thank God for that. Several of my Marine Corps, buddies, have been through, way far worse than me. I was on recently is on a podcast called Spear Talk Podcast with someone from the Secret Service.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly, what all that man's been through, but, I was telling him, it's like, I don't claim to be, a war hero or anything like that, but it's a part of my past that I can't really take away or run away from. For years, I tried to run away from the Marine Corps part of myself, just because it's like, we're more or less, this won't sound good on the internet or whatever, but seriously, in all honesty, we were trained killers,
Yeah, of course.
And that realization, came into my head, early on, because we were shooting silhouette targets, right? And as a kid, 18 years old, you're just over there fucking popping rounds off. Fuck yeah, I get to shoot a machine gun. This is fucking cool. But then, there was a moment of maturity that came in my head. I was fucking shot somebody. That target went down. That silhouette went down. And then it really crystallized and really clicked in my head. It's like, fuck, man, they're training me to kill. As a kid joining the Marine Corps, that's what you join the Marine Corps for, right? But it's different whenever there was a training exercise. I had to shoot somebody, right? And it was like simulation, real simulation. And I shot that guy, right? And he fell down. He was fucking dead. And it's like, I just killed that guy, but it was pretend. It was play. It was pretend. But the real click, was that silhouette target that I shot. And I don't know if it was because I was a little bit older or what it was really that made me realize it's like, damn, man.
Yeah, I think as you get older, you then you hit that bit of maturity mentally, the realization of things,
right,
including death. They come to you, you're more in tune with your own mortality, I think, as you get older.
Right. So,
whereas when you're 18, 19, you kind of think you're going to live forever, don't you? And you don't really think about that stuff necessarily.
The Marine Corps has a way, of conditioning, of brainwashing, the recruits, to where it's like, you tell a recruit to stand up, he's going to stand up at, attention. His feet's going to be together, his hand down by the side. And it's like, yeah, that's brainwashing. And the Marine Corps, the drill instructors always said, they're like, it's like, goddamn right, we're brainwashing you, but we're going to break you down. We're going to build you back up and you're going to be better. That's the mentality of the Marine Corps. And I'm not saying that it's true, not saying that it's not true. But I wouldn't change nothing. A lot of my friends have been through a lot of stuff. I got back from Iraq and one guy, a couple got 3-4 guys, blew their heads off, killed themselves. One guy got arrested, went to prison. Another guy, he got addicted to heroin, so it's like there's all kinds of bad things, that you were exposed to. And PTSD is a real thing, right?
Yeah, 100%.
100%. And when I got back from Iraq, I was still, as I was in my, I had a little Honda Civic at the time, and I'd be driving down the road, going home here, in the United States, and I'd be looking on the side of the road for bombs, I'd be, there's a trash bag over there. That could be an IED. So PTSD, even if, you didn't directly have to shoot somebody, I've seen people get shot and stuff, but PTSD is a real thing. And I'd kind of like to raise awareness about that because a lot of my Marine Corps, brothers and people that I've served with are, oh man, I don't deserve anything from them. I don't deserve nothing, but you don't realize, how that affects you, just the conditioning, until, like you said, with the maturity, as you go on, you kind of really come to understand. It's like, dude, you might have a little bit of a problem. Yeah, people don't want to face their problems.
100%. And I think one thing we've done a few different series and shows on mental health. And I actually did a show on PTSD back last year with a footballer who'd had some issues. But I know a few guys who've come back from Iraq and the army and things, and they've never been the same since they went in. They went in as kids and they came out and they just haven't been able to acclimatize. One of them didn't make it when he got, he saw some stuff, couldn't cope with it, and drank himself to death pretty much.
Hey, man, sipping on wine right now, but I can relate to that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I think I don't know what it's like in the US, but I know in the UK, the government and the people who send you guys and these soldiers out there to do these things, they don't do enough to help them afterwards. They kind of just leave them
I've been very fortunate, man. Like the VA has really taken care of me, as far as mental health and, treatment and everything. But at the same time, it's like one of my fire team leader, right? He's running for sheriff of his town. And, hell, I don't know how many people he's had to, smoke, as he would say. And that's in the civilian sector, and firefighters, EMTs, paramedics, the stuff that they've been through, even private contractors, there's no help for them. Like, unless it's private or unless you're prior or military, then you have the VA. So, here in the United States, the VA actually is doing a lot better than they, used to with helping vets.
Good. That's good. That's very good, because I think there's nothing which is, I get really upset when I see like videos, or even just in general, see people who've served their countries for years, seen some terrible things, done some things on behalf of their country, and then you see them and they're living in a cardboard box, or they're living on a park bench, and it seems like they've got no one to help them and get them out of that cycle. And quite often the reason they're in the position they're in now is because they weren't able to either acclimatize when they came back, or they had some mental health issues when they came back. Or
I think a big part of that, I don't know about, over there, but here, a big part of it is they don't feel like, a lot of people, prior servicemen, they feel like after they're done, they're done. They don't want any help. They don't want any money. And that's stubborn. I was fortunate enough to be able to get help, and everybody, every single serviceman that I meet out in public, I ask them, I say, do you have any service connection at all? They're like, no, what's that? I'm like, dude, you could get a little bit, you could get help through the VA. And now I have 100% medical taken care of. I get a pension, from, the VA. And so I try to give back a little bit, and you wouldn't even believe how many people have been through so much, way worse than I could even imagine, talking about Vietnam era, having to shoot little kids and, whatever. I don't want to get too dark with this shit, though.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I try to get back and I try to help them. I have a phone number on my phone. I'm like, here, call this number, talk to this man. He's like, I don't want to do that. But if nothing else, even if it doesn't work, just tell your story, because you need to talk. You need to talk about it. And who knows? Maybe they'll help you get an extra $600 a month, or maybe it might get you close to $4,000. And plus 100% medical taken care of.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's worth talking about as well. I'm kind of interested how you went from the Marine, or how you ended up going from the Marine Corps to a magician. It seems like different ends of the spectrum. So you came back from the Marine Corps, or you left the Marine Corps. What was next for you?
After I left the Marine Corps, I was in college. I got a degree in public speaking, an Associates of Science in Public Speaking. And then I went on to get a bachelor's degree in integrated marketing communications, right? So it's a business, a BBA, and, bachelor's in business administration. From there, I was so fed up with the rat race, with the TikTok, the grind of college, school. I was like, dude, fuck this shit. I can't go into a corporate job right now. I can't make myself do it. And somebody at the time was living in Korea teaching English. And so I went and I applied and ended up getting a job overseas in Taiwan. So I taught English in Taiwan, 2 separate times for about a year each time, 10 months and 10 months or so. But speaking on the magic thing, magic has always been a part of me, because I've always been an entertainer. That's hence the public speaking thing. I've always wanted to entertain people. I've always wanted to make people laugh, make people smile. And I've always kind of fed off of that. So I didn't really do a lot of magic and stuff, in the Marine Corps, as far as I can remember. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But it was mostly, I was like the comedic relief. I'm a comedian at heart, that's what I tell people. It's like, I'm a comedian, I'm a serious motherfucker, and I'm a magician, but really at heart, I like to cut up. I like to have fun. I like to make people laugh. I don't like taking life too seriously, because seriousness, it's important to be serious and be matter of fact when you need to be. But whenever I'm in my off time, I'm just cutting up with my friends, just having a good time, because life's too short,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. I think you can get kind of caught up in it, in the seriousness of everything, can't you? Because everyone's got bills to pay and things to do. And
Yeah.
It's easy to just feel like you're just going round and round and round in the same old worry. And sometimes you've got to just enjoy people, enjoy time. You've been all over the place then in terms of like how was teaching English out in Taiwan? Is because how does that work? Did you speak other languages before?
Yeah. I can speak Chinese. I'm trying to read your hat. I was actually trying to read what the symbol is.
I think it's like a F and a C.
Yeah, it's
like
too
a
blurry.
crown or something. I think
it's blurry and it's reversed for me.
Yeah. So it's just even harder. No, it's just it's an FC, I think, and then like a crown on it.
Oh, it's not a Chinese character?
No.
Okay, it looks from the angle of it. It looks like it kind of looks similar to the character for Turtle.
Okay, there you go. No.
But I mean, it's blurry. I just was looking at the hook. But yeah, I had a private tutor when I was in college. Because I did martial arts, right, and then I started doing kung fu, and my brain told me, it's like, if you're going to learn, kung fu, if you're going to learn to do, I started off in Taekwondo, Judo, Hapkido, and then started doing Marine Corps martial arts. I got my green belt in that. That was just forced through the program, And then when I got out of the Marine Corps, I started doing kung fu. And I was really interested in the philosophy, the yin and the yang. I kind of, wanted to know more about Taoism. And so my brain was like, if you want to learn this, you have to learn the language. And I was like, no, man, dude, Chinese is a shit language. I don't want to learn that. I want to learn Japanese. You're like, yeah, but you're not studying a Japanese martial art. It's like, oh, okay. And so I was going to China. I was going to go teach in Hangzhou. I had a job lined up. And then I was on this group because I wanted to practice Chinese, right? And I didn't want to practice talking Chinese to Chinese dudes online. Yeah. So I was in this group called Let's Speak Chinese. And there was a girl in there. And she was talking to me in English and Chinese, like that language exchange thing. And I was telling her that I'm going to Hangzhou to, teach English. And she's like, oh, don't go to China. I'm like, well, why not? She said, well, China is a communist country. She said, you should go to Taiwan. And I was like, well, what the hell's Taiwan? I don't know about Taiwan. She said, oh, it's the only democracy in Asia. And plus, I'm here. And that's all it took, man. Yeah. As soon as she said that, I was like, all right, baby, I'm coming. And so I ended up, dating her for, 4 or 5 years and lived over there. So, yeah, getting back to the private tutor, I had a private tutor in college. I did it, study once a week. I did Rosetta Stone, and I did a program called Pimsleur's Chinese, which is an audio thing I'd put in my car, and I would just repeat it and listen to it. It would say it in Chinese, it'd say the conversation, and then it would give the direct translation in English. That's Pimsleur's. Rosetta Stone for Chinese ain't worth a fuck. Then I lived over there and I taught English, dated the Chinese girl. Everywhere I would go, like right now, I could be dropped off anywhere in China, and I'm serious, anywhere in China, and I can get around as long as they speak, Putonghua, which is, Mandarin, which is the common language, or in China they call it Hanyu.
It's crazy. So, how long did it take you from start to finish, Jack, and to be fluent in Chinese?
I am not fluent, sir. Nowhere near. No.
You can hold a conversation.
I could be dropped off. I could be dropped off anywhere in China, and I'd be able to get around enough to read. And as long as they, like in where they speak Cantonese, I wouldn't be able to get around so much there. But I would be able to get around because I'd be able to type it. I can read and write in pinyin, right? Okay, yeah. So I could type on my phone, and I'd be able to spell the Chinese in my phone using English characters and show them the Chinese. And it would, be enough to get around. But, Taiwan, I could survive there. China, I could survive there. And I'd be able to, get around, actually have conversations. I can't talk about, astrophysics or talk about anything real surface. I can ask, how to get here. Where's the bathroom? I want to order chicken,
So how were you able to teach English if you weren't like fluent?
Because it's 100% English school. Starting in kindergarten, no Chinese was allowed to be spoken in class. And so a lot of the students didn't know I could speak Chinese. And I'd hear them talking shit, and I'd be like, what'd you say? So I'd try to be sneaky about it and not let them know. And then when I did speak Chinese, finally, before I left, they were like, teacher, are you from China? Mm-hmm. What do you mean? Because I was in Taiwan, which is not China. And they said, well, you have a Beijing accent. Because my teacher was from Beijing.
Yeah, I think it's a cool little tool to have, and if you speak the language and they don't realize, especially as a teacher.
Well, see, I wanted to be able to speak to the majority of the people in the world. And between Chinese and English, I can officially speak to the majority of the people in the world, statistically speaking.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah. That's
See, because back then, I thought that I was going to be a big businessman, because I was going to school for business. And so it made logical sense.
So were you what was your, at that point, what would you have been, do you think your planned career would have been?
I wanted to be an actor.
Okay.
I mean, I am an actor, I guess. Every day I'm acting in some way, whether it's acting a fool or acting serious or, trying to blow people's minds with magic. But yeah, I mean, like at 23 years old, you don't know what the hell you want to do. I mean, my best friend, he knew from the start he wanted to be a nurse. From like 16 years old, he knew he wanted to be a nurse. So he became a nurse anesthetist, and now he's making, more money than I've ever seen in my life. But he knew what he wanted. I've just known I've always wanted to do what I want to do. And that might change tomorrow. But magic has been the most consistent thing in my life.
Yeah, it's weird. I never knew what I wanted to do. Like ever. I started working early, got used to having money, and then just had like a general like office jobs and stuff. And it was only like really when I got to like my late 30s and I started doing podcasts and things like that I genuinely found something which I loved doing, and I loved speaking to people. And then it's kind of just kept growing and stuff, and I've met some incredible people along the way. And I wish I'd discovered it when I was like 20, but then I wouldn't have the life experience. Yeah, just
did podcast even exist? Like, because I only heard of a podcast like 5-6 years ago, whenever Joe Rogan started, really.
Yeah, I think when I say like I wish I could have done it when I was 20, but like I think more sort of like radio and things like that.
Radio, maybe. TV, film.
Yeah, I wish I'd kind of gone in that direction, but then I wouldn't have the life experience and the things which make me who I am. And those things that make me who I am are also the things that drive me on, that enable me to have conversations with people from all different walks of life and things. And I can quite often, no matter who I speak to, whether it's a Premier League footballer or a wrestler or a magician or an actor.
So I wanted to be an actor, and actually I made a short film. It's on my YouTube channel. It's called The Drifter. And, I filmed it with the Ursa Black Magic, the big one. We're talking about like a $3,000 cinema camera, with a $2,000 lens. And then that led me to being a producer on an actual movie set for a movie called Pig Lady. It's a horror movie, which we filmed in Weimar, Oregon, and in San Diego. And it's actually about to be coming out here within the year. We raised close to $35,000 from Kickstarter and Indiegogo, plus the director, he had some life savings he put into it. So I wanted to be an actor, man, and never thought that I'd be being a producer. So I have all these skill sets, all these talents and everything. So I guess the way to really describe me is I'm an artist before anything else. Whether it's, painting. I used to be a painter. I had some, my paintings in an art gallery. I'm an entertainer. I'm an artist. I'm an entertainer. I'm a comedian. I'm a fool. I'm a genius.
But all those skills that you've mentioned, I would imagine, all fit beautifully into being a magician and putting on a show as a magician. Whether it's the public speaking, you could use different languages. You could work.
I use the Chinese. Whenever I'm out and about, somewhere, I will pretend that I'm reading somebody's mind. Like I'll listen to them and I'll say, this person, they're Korean. This person's, Japanese. This one here might be Chinese. And then if I'm like 95% sure, I'll go up to them and I'll start showing them a couple of basic magic tricks. And then I've not did this in a while, but then after that, I'll be like, do you care if I read your mind a little bit? They're like, yeah. So I want you to think of a random word in your language. Okay. I'm going to try to read your mind. And then I'll put my hand, like not quite on their head, but I'll be like, just trying to pull it out. And then I'll be like, oh, I feel like I'm getting, I said, what word are you thinking? And they'll say, I'm thinking of dog. And I go, okay. I go, shall go. And And they go, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're thinking of little dog, right? And so I use that as a trick. And then after that, I'll carry it on for a little while. But then I'll tell them the truth eventually. It's like, no, I'm just messing with you. I live in Taiwan and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really gets great reactions.
Yeah, I was going to say that'd be really cool. I was half expecting if you had said something in Welsh, then that would have blown my mind.
No.
That would have blown my mind.
Now I can do a little bit in Polish because I studied Polish whenever I was in Iraq because we had a doc. His name was Doc Pelagiewicz, and everybody called him Doc Pelagowicz. And I was wanting to learn a language. This is before Chinese. This is back 2009, and I was like, dude, I heard him over on the phone. I was like, what the hell? What language are you speaking? He's like, oh, it's Polish. I'm like, oh, never heard of Polish. I was 18, never heard of, didn't even know where Poland was. And so I went to a little Haji shop, as we called them, an Arabic store there in Al Assad Air Base in Iraq. And sure enough, they had a Rosetta Stone CD, like a ripoff of Rosetta Stone. They had Japanese, it had Chinese, it had a bunch of shit. My phone's ringing. Daniel Rivington's calling. Should we answer?
Go on, you
Nah, he's going to tell a joke. I know he's going to tell a joke. All right, we'll let him. Tell your joke. Tell your joke.
What's going on, you fucking slag? How you doing, cunt? You all right?
You all right, mate? What's happening?
I'm in the middle of a good.
What's happened in the news?
I'm in the middle of a good story. Make it fast.
Have you heard about what's happened in the news?
Go on.
In that country, in Africa, beginning with a K. What's it called?
I don't know.
You know that country in Africa that begins with a K. What's it called?
Don't know.
Kenya,
that's the one. Yeah.
Can you fit these nuts in your mouth?
Click. Can you? He did that. He did that on the last podcast I was in. Anyway,
no, he's cool. He's a Cockney.
No, he's just fucking around. He lives in Leeds.
Is it?
Yeah. Where are you at?
Wales, I'm in. So down the bottom, just outside England.
Yeah, he was just messing with you. He told me he's going to do that. I was like, I don't know. Anyway,
it's so good, man.
So getting back to what I was saying, there was a little Haji store, right, an Arabic store that sold Rosetta Stone, and it had Polish, a bunch of different languages and everything. And so I looked at Polish, and it's the only like Slavic language that I found that didn't use the Cyrillic alphabet because I didn't want to learn the new alphabet at the time. And so they used English characters, or I guess it's called Roman characters or whatever. And so I started going through Rosetta Stone, and I did like four levels of Rosetta Stone. So at one point I was pretty proficient in Polish. 2 weeks or a week, whatever, studying Polish with Rosetta Stone, I went up to Doc Pelagiewicz. I was like, so and he turned around and looked at me. He's like, what the fuck? I thought you were a native Polish speaking person. So how did you learn that? I said, down here at the damn, store. I bought this rip-off DVD and started learning Polish.
So you clearly got like a thirst for knowledge just by the fact that you kind of just wanted to learn a language and just did it. Like a lot of people will think, oh, I'd like to learn a language, but then they put it off and they put it off and they put it off, and it's always like a tomorrow thing. And oh yeah, I would like to do that, but I'll kind of put it off. But like judging by all the stuff you've done,
it comes down to resources, man. Like if it hadn't been for that, store in Iraq selling, bootleg DVDs, hell, I could be a doctor. They were teaching how to be a doctor. They had one program of how to be a hacker. And I'm like, man, it's all bootleg, ripped off shit. They probably torrented and ripped it. And some would be in Arabic and some would be in English, some would be in German. So you just pick and choose. But it comes down to resources. And it's also not only resources, but passion. So, for example, like it'd be cool to learn to speak Spanish. I mean, I would like to speak Spanish, but I'm not passionate about it. And I've had every opportunity. I did 3 years of French in high school. I can't speak a damn lick of French. So I just didn't care.
Yeah, I think that's the same as anything, and it is if you've got a passion for it, or you enjoy it, or there's a reason, but it becomes a lot easier to motivate yourself to do it.
Right.
If it's something that you're begrudgingly doing, like French in school, you kind of never fully committed, and that information goes in one ear and out the other pretty quick.
Back in those days, though, I was more concerned about being the entertainment of the class. So I would try to make everybody laugh, and I would purposely speak French bad. You know, instead of saying "tout te peux comment," I'd be like "tout table comment." So I would learn the language, but I got more enjoyment out of just being an idiot, just being the class clown.
Yeah.
But we also had a French foreign exchange student. His name is Clément, and so I sat here. And then the French foreign exchange student in the French class, he sat beside of me. And let's just say I didn't have to really learn anything because I just looked at his paper.
Yeah, just there you go.
For the tests and
Dropped
stuff.
them.
So actually, looking back, I wish I would have been a little bit more mature and taken it a little bit more seriously. But
yeah, but
it is what it is.
Teenage, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
I look back on my teenage years a lot, and I was really good at football or soccer, as you guys would call it. But like, I was just more interested in girls and smoking weed. So that's what I did.
Smoke any weed back then, though, man. Like,
you can't tell a 15, 16-year-old. Like, you can advise them, and you can kind of say, you should be doing this or try harder or all these different things. But ultimately,
the French teacher, he was a big weed smoker, though.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. One thing about, France, if I ever have the opportunity to go, I want to go and check out the catacombs, not go super damn deep, but I don't want to go to the tourist part. I want to go to the illegal area. I want to crawl in there and actually see what it's like. I probably wouldn't go very deep, but I would like to see what the catacombs are actually like.
So I take it you're not claustrophobic. Yeah, 100%. I get I get why, and I can see, like, I like the thought of, I think that would be really cool. And then I think, I don't know if I want to be stuck down there.
Oh, dude! Supposedly, there's more miles under the city of Paris in the catacombs than there are miles of street above ground because it's so many layers, But
what was it initially for?
What it was is they were doing mining. They were mining under there, and then the city had I think it was flooding issues or something with irrigation, and they're like, "Yo, let's move all the dead bodies down here under the ground." Makes sense. Because I guess that's how they paved the made all the stone, a lot of stone buildings. I'm assuming stone streets. So they were mining under there, and then they ended up moving the bodies down there. And in order to get to where the bodies are today, evidently, according to the videos I've seen, you got to go deep, deep, deep down. Except for the main tourist area, right, where they have all that gold stacked and all that shit. That'd be cool to see that too. But I would like to go into the area to where it's like, yo, you're not supposed to be here. But don't get your ass lost because I would not want that to be my demise. But it'd be an appropriate place though, right?
I would assume as well, like, because they used to mine there, they would go down real fucking deep as well.
I'm assuming it's probably like limestone or something because it's solid rock.
Yeah, be interesting.
I've never been to Paris, so I don't really know much about it, but it'd be cool.
100%. So talk to me about that period then. So when did being a magician become the thing for you?
Pretty much in Taiwan. I had the opportunity to meet some of the world's best magicians at a magic convention, and I was doing magic then, and there was 3 magicians there. Matty Gilbert, his name is Matty Gilbert. Matty Gilbert, he's French name from Canada. So Matty Gilbert. He's a big dude on Penn and Teller Foolis, right?
Yeah.
I muted my phone. Hang on. So he was there, and I just saw him like a week prior on the computer. And he's the only magician in the entire world that does not do sleight of hand.
Okay.
He does sleight of arm because he doesn't have any hands.
Jesus.
Yeah. He's a legend. He's a living legend. So he was there. And then there was Eric Jones. He's been on the podcast, on our podcast. And also there was Peter Turner. He's a magician he's like the mentalist. He's like a consultant. He's freaking genius. He's a legend. And they needed somebody to be on the stage that was a native English speaker, because Maddie, Eric, and Pete all spoke English natively. And everybody there in the whole, place, were Chinese people that didn't speak English as a first language. And so at first they asked me to be on, Pete asked me personally to be on his show, his, stage thing. And so I got to be on stage with Peter Turner. And then after that, one of the people out of the thing came up and asked me to be on Eric Jones's show. And I made friends with them, and one thing led to another. And Pete invited me to go to Blackpool in England. And there at Blackpool is where the world's largest magic convention is. Yes. It's every year, in February. I didn't go this past year, but I was there. And I made all these excuses. No, I can't go. I can't afford it. I won't go. And every time I would text Pete, he would say, "You coming to Blackpool?" And I said, "No, bro, I can't make these excuses." I texted him again a couple of weeks later. He's like, "Hey, bro, you coming to Blackpool?" It's like, "God damn it. No, I'm not coming to Blackpool, motherfucker. I'm not going." And I ended up going to Blackpool. And it's all because of those connections in Taiwan, man. And that's kind of snowballed the career after that, the magic career. The guy that we talked to on the phone that called in, that's Daniel Rivington. He's the co-host of Conversation with the Conjurer, the podcast that we do together. Yeah. He introduced me to him. And he was out of Leeds. He's the president of Leeds Magic Circle. Okay.
I like I said at the start, I can't remember if I said it on the show or if I said it to you when we were just chatting. I got a real thing for magic. Like I enjoy it. I enjoy all aspects of it. And like you mentioned earlier about when you were a kid and your grandfather showing you that trick.
Yeah.
And like me now, like one of my favorite things to do when my kids were really young, like I got 3 teenage boys now, so they're kind of not interested in little magic tricks and stuff. But when they were young and they were, toddling around the room, it's just the vanishing coin, because as a kid, it just blows your mind. And like when my niece is like 3 now, and like making a coin appear behind her ear and then in her pocket and all these different things, like to a kid, it's so magical and it's so just like mind blowing.
And I see that's why I prefer not to perform for children, because children, they pretty much across the board, he just knows magic. Whatever, no big deal. He just knows magic. They believe that, So that's why I prefer to perform for adults, for the people that, like the people that wear the suits, the people that are so stuck up, set in their ways, to really make them question what is reality. Because, magic is the only art that can really make you question reality. Music, listen to music can give you chill bumps on your arms, right? Mm-hmm. Or you can see, a painting and, be inspired. Or you can see, magic is the only art form that has the ability to make you question reality and what is real. Nothing else can do that. Watching a movie, on the television, it can make you cry. You can see a sad movie, like 12 Years a Slave. You can watch that and it'll make you cry. It can make you feel anger. It can make you feel happiness. It can make you feel all of these things. I guess a movie could make you question reality too.
Yeah, I think
it performed in front of your face before you in person. Magic is the only thing.
Blows your mind. And I think I was going to say, like, magic. See, I've got this weird thing. See, so say you showed me a trick, and it blows my mind, and I'd be like, it's incredible, it's amazing. I would make it my mission. Then to try and find out how it's done.
Well, can we try something then?
Yeah. But my problem is when I find out how it's done, quite often I'm like, oh, because I almost spoil it for myself. Whereas that moment when the trick happens is special.
All right. Simon, right?
Yeah.
I want to try something with you, okay? Do you know your zodiac sign?
Scorpio.
Well, you just told me. So I'm also a Scorpio.
Okay.
I kind of had a feeling. Now, look, see, I could have researched you, Simon, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned you have a wife, right? Without telling me, do you know her sign? Yes or no?
I don't, You
don't? Okay.
No, I was bad.
Take the time real fast and use your phone and Google her birthday and look up what her sign is.
I will.
Google what it is and keep it on your phone and keep it handy.
Okay. Okay, got you. Do I tell you?
No, of course not. I'm going to try to. I'm going to read. I'm going to read your phone. I'm going to read your mind.
Okay.
All right. Do you have it pulled up?
Yeah.
All right. So here's the way this works, man. This is hard to do over, podcast.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a shot. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So look at me here. Look at the camera. And I'm looking at your eyes. I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking at your eyes, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I want you to spell her star sign in your mind's eye silently to yourself. Okay? Spell it like a ribbon going across. Okay? Now, just for fun, mix up the spelling. So, for example, if she's a Leo, you'd spell L-E-O. Then jumble it up. It'd be E-O-L or O-L-E, right? But she's not a Leo, right?
She is, yeah.
She is?
Yeah. Shocking. How'd you do that? See, that just bugs me. It's good, isn't it? Even over the internet, still magic. See, as soon as you said Leo the first time, I was like, I'm gonna have a drink now because I started smirking and I was like trying to hide it. It's good.
Hey, I'll show you something with cards. Let's see if this will work. So I have to stand up, all right?
That's cool.
This is gonna be an awkward angle. So this is an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me get in the frame here. All right. I can't see very well, but I think this is in frame, right?
Yeah, that's in frame.
So I have 4 blank cards, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 blank cards. So what I'll do is I just shake the cards just like this. And again, it's 4 blank cards, right? Yeah. I turn it over just like this, okay? Mm-hmm. You see?
All right, just lift it up a little bit.
Oh,
is that, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
All right, so look, now it's 4 blank cards. All of a sudden, AJ pops out. And awkward angle. AJ is the only card that has any writing on it.
Mm-hmm. This is really cool. Nicely done.
I made that up just before I came on here.
That's really cool. I like that. I'll definitely clip that as well. When I before we put the show out, I'll put a little clip on Facebook and stuff. Hey guys, see, I love magic. I could just sit here and just talk about magic for the whole time.
You want to see another one?
Yeah, go on.
All right, so this is the 4-ace trick, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, this is specifically for Wales. Is that considered a Brit? What?
Yeah, it's part of the UK and Britain.
All right, so this is specifically for you Brits out there, all right?
Yeah.
I might say some more words here in a second, but shout out to the person this came from. Anyway, So this is the 4-ace trick, right? The aces have the ability to turn themselves over and back over spontaneously, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So as you see here, the first ace to pop out is the ace of clubs. Give it a little shake, and the ace of clubs is back face down. Now it's the ace of diamonds, you see? Take the ace of diamonds, I'm going to put it back in. Give it a little shake, and just like that, the ace of diamonds is back face down. Now it's the ace of hearts. So I take the ace of hearts, I put it back into the packet, give it a little shake just like that. So you've seen the clubs, the hearts, and the diamonds, right?
Yeah.
But which card are we missing?
With the ace, clubs, diamond, spades.
We're missing the spades, but I can turn it over manually just like that, right?
Yeah.
But did you see the cards change colors, Simon?
I didn't know.
It says it right here. Did you see the cards change color with Brit spelling? Now, of course, Simon, I'm not talking about the face of the cards. I'm not talking about the face of the cards. I'm talking about the back because I'm using cards.
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful. Yes. I love that. That is a good one. I like that one. I like that one a lot.
And seriously, it's just 4 cards.
See? There's no extra cards.
Nope.
Wow. That's a real good one. I like that. That one is definitely being clipped. 100%.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
That was awesome. I really, really enjoyed that. Brought a smile to my face. Incredible. There we go. AJ pulling out the tricks. I like it. So, as we kind of go into the last 20 minutes or so, where do you want to take your magic? Like, where would you like to be ultimately with it?
Well, actually, let me show you this, man. Is it reversed on your end? No, you can see
No,
it.
it's good. No, it's just,
So this is my book right here, right? This is called Mastering the Art of Magic. Okay. This is a book that I came out with, I guess probably about a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago.
Okay.
And on the very back of this book, it says,
your effort to lead you to the top.
Yeah. So speaking on where I want to go, well, I'm top of the pyramid, according to this book, right?
Yeah.
And that's just fun. It's just a coffee table piece, right? I can't teach you how to master magic. And I'm not even going to begin to say that I'm a master of magic myself, because if you look in this book, it's completely blank. May your efforts lead you to the top. So this is it's a conversation piece. It's a journal. And, I wrote some words inside of here. Yeah. This is my personal copy, and I autographed it. I was going to give it to somebody. Yeah, and I even wrote right here, do not give away, to remind myself. Because I give stuff away all the time.
Yeah.
This is on Amazon for like $8. Something like that.
If I order a book, if I order one of those, will you sign it for me?
Well, I mean, I don't know how I would do that unless.
Does it go from Amazon? Does it?
Yeah, I mean, it would actually. The book would probably be printed somewhere in England.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll still get one.
But I have another book here. This is one of my later books.
Mm-hmm.
The Book of Magic.
Book of Magic.
Yeah, I use the name A.J. Christoph. That's my pen name for Alex Christopher Johnson.
Yep.
It's a cool book, and this book actually has words in it.
Yeah. That's I really like that cover. It's cool.
I design all of my own work, dude. I write my own books, publish my own books, design the covers. Everything you see here is me. I'm a one man.
One man machine.
Yeah, one man, whatever. But I love that design right there. If you can see it.
Yeah. Did you design your logo as well?
No. That came from some guy in the Netherlands.
Okay.
I use this thing called Fiverr.
Yeah.
It's like 50 quid or something like that, $60, $70, something like that. And he sent me a couple of different designs, and I saw that one. I was like, that is it. That is the design. As you see here, I got some shirts back here behind me.
Yeah.
I got my shirts laid back here. I got my AJ hat. So I'm trying to merch it up, Yeah,
you got to do it. So what does an average day consist of for you at the moment?
I mean, every day's a weekend for me, man.
Drinking wine.
I don't live on a schedule. I don't have to go to work. I just I wake up, and I've been very blessed. I've been very fortunate. Like I'm going to be driving this weekend. I'm going to be going to Norfolk, Virginia to do some street magic. A couple months ago, I was in New York City filming, a magic special. Before that, I was living in San Diego. So it's like, I don't have any goals. I don't have any plans, but I hope my efforts will lead me to the top, whatever the top is. But I don't believe the top is actually a real thing,
No.
Because top of the pyramid, it's like everybody's equal. It's just, people on the grass. The top, is ego. I got to be the best. I don't have to be the best, dude. I'm already the best. That's my opinion. Now, I might not be the richest. I might not be the most known, but I'm the best at what I do. Always be number one at who you are and whatever your skill set is. That came from my friend Barnaby. His whole thing is always be number one at whatever it is you do. And even if you don't get the recognition for it, recognition is second, Yeah,
100%. I completely agree with that. I like that. Some good words from Barnaby. What about
Lord Fingerman, number one? Check him out. He'd be an excellent guest for you to have on the show. But he's a native Spanish speaker, so it's a little bit challenging,
yeah.
you know, for him to do interviews not in Spanish, but he might do it, you know.
With regards to like magic, this obviously with YouTube and TikTok and all these different mediums of media these days, is there any magicians you watch yourself to I don't know, see new tricks to just keep up with it, or do you mainly concentrate on your own stuff?
Check this out, man. So these right here, can you see them? Yeah. There we go. So these came from Peter Turner and Nathan Lindley. Nathan Lindley made Resurrected 2, right, which is Pete's deck of cards.
Mm-hmm.
He had the version 2 of them. And then these here came from my friend Paul Richardson, okay? So these are called the Hamsa deck.
Okay.
And then these right here came from Matty Gilbert, the only magician in the entire world to not do sleight of hand, but sleight of arm, because he doesn't have any hands.
It's madness.
Oh, yeah. So, and then that leads me to this, man. And then here is a prototype of the AJ deck, which is my deck, which is coming out soon.
Sweet. Yes, I like that.
So, yeah, I follow a lot of magicians, but over the years, I found out the ones that I idolized the most, you know, the ones that I followed the most, it's like, well, dude, they're my friends now, you know?
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's a weird thing because first off, you know, I was never like a fanboy, you know. It's, oh my God. It's like I always put myself on the same top pyramid as them because everybody's people, man, you know.
Yeah.
But in the last podcast, they asked me if there was any magician or any celebrity that you would like to meet. And I said, well, just to meet, or to meet and make friends with. And they said, well, you know, to meet and make friends with. And I said, well, that'd be David Blaine. They said, well, what about to meet just to meet? And I said, well, that'd be David Blaine also.
Yeah. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
I'd like to have a conversation with him.
David Blaine, you know, is who I got most of my inspiration from in the early days, right? And then I met other people and, you know, it snowballed from there. Like, you know, I have a coin here, right? So you can grab the coin, right? Let's get it here. You can grab the coin. And you can take the coin, you can mash the coin, right? So which hand is it in, left or right?
This one.
This one?
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
So you think that it's there, but really, there is no coin at all, right? Because the coin is right here on the table.
Beautifully done, that was. Even with a camera, that was beautifully done. Like, so good. I love it. See, I feel like I like magic because it makes you feel good, it makes you smile, and I think in 2022 everyone's so keen to be negative and toxic.
Yep.
And the problem is, unfortunately, negativity and toxicity and bad behavior, abusive behavior can make you famous very quickly with TikTok and social media and things like that.
Yeah, dude, fuck that noise, dude.
And I hate it so much. And one of my favorite things about doing all the different podcasts I do and speaking to all the different people I do is we've created like this little community of people who watch the shows and will comment and join the live shows and stuff like that. But it's all like positive, and I kind of just like my little corner of the internet, and I got no time for negativity. But magic, and even like you doing the tricks that you just did, it makes me feel good, makes me smile, makes me happy. Like, what else is there? Like, why wouldn't everyone want to feel like that? I don't know. Makes no sense to me, man. But
I think a lot of it comes down to, you know, not jealousy, so to say, but it's like they're just angry on the inside. They're not, maybe they're not jealous of, you know, the person or whatever. Maybe they just feel like, oh, that could be me, but I don't have the willingness to step forward and do what it takes, you know? So maybe it is jealousy, or maybe they're just snarky comments. Like, I catch myself sometimes, you know, like, I want to be funny, you know, I want to be a comedian, and I see shit, you know, pop up on Facebook or whatever, and I want to leave a snarky remark that I think is funny. Then I have to smack myself in the face. No, you're being a dickhead. Don't do that. Don't say that. Even though if I think that it's funny, you might get a personal laugh out of it, but it's how it's perceived. That's the tricky part.
Yeah,
So,
and when it's written down as well.
Maybe they don't mean nothing by it. Maybe they're just being snarky.
Yeah, when you write it down as well, I think you lose context, don't you? If it's just a comment.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were saying it to someone, they can tell you're joking around and you're having a laugh and you're trying to be funny. Whereas when it's written as just a very quick sentence, it's like you lose the context for it.
See, one thing that I catch myself doing is if it's some of my buddies, some close friends that I grew up with, some people that I know, it's like, fuck it, dude, I'll say whatever, because they know me. They actually know me. But if it's some random, asshole on the internet that doesn't know me, it could be interpreted wrong because it's lost. There's no context. There's no human factor. They're just reading the text. And if they're in a negative mindset, they will read that negatively. It's like, this motherfucker, he's an asshole, So you got to be very careful with that shit. And trust me, I like to get drunk and be on the internet and talk to people. And I try to never be bad. I try to never be mean. But sometimes you never, like, for example, one of my good friends, he was telling me about a disorder, like not bipolar disorder, but split personality disorder or some shit. I don't know what the definition was. And I was like, dude, what the hell is that? He's like, well, for example, somebody can say something and I will interpret it totally different and that will ruin my entire day. I'm like, damn, dude.
Yeah,
I paused and thought about it. And that right there made me think, it's like, some people, are different than me. It's like, hell, dude, you can call me a dickhead asshole, and I'll be like, all right, whatever, fuck you. But people are wired differently, so you have to always be conscious of how you, conduct yourself online.
Yeah, 100%. And people, like, you never know what's going on with people as well. You don't know if they're having problems. You don't know if they just split up with their wife or someone's died, or it could be anything.
If you have personal problems, then everything else is going to fall apart.
Oh yeah. You mentioned that you want to be. You mentioned like comedy and being a comedian and stuff. Is like stand up something that you think you could go to in the future?
I mean, I did stand up before, several times at different clubs and stuff. But every single joke that I ever told, doing stand up, I was sitting down.
Okay.
I got you on that one.
We like it. What is that something that you think you'll pursue more though?
I mean, I want to, and I make all these excuses. Dude, you're Simon on Facebook, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You popped up. I'm going to send you my routine. Okay. I wrote it out. I've never performed it, but one night I couldn't sleep and I wrote this entire fucking routine. It's probably a good, it's probably about a 3 to 5 minute read. Yeah. Read that shit, dude. It's funny, dude. I was fucking rolling, dude.
Send it to me. Because I'm a big stand-up comedy is my right in my wheelhouse.
The thing is, I'm one hell of a comedy writer, but I've not been on stage a lot for comedy. I'm on stage usually for magic, right?
Yeah.
So it's a totally different game because on magic you can improv. You can improv it, because I'm there to where it's like, shuffling cards, you're not going to improv it, right? But comedy, you have to know the material in your head. And I just wrote this just the other night, and it's not perfect, but it's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah,
it made me laugh.
Send it to me because that's what it's about, is making people laugh. And the other thing as well is with when you do comedy clubs and stuff, and you quite often, particularly when you're starting out with it, you may get like 3 to 5 minutes, say, and they want you, once your 5 minutes is up, they want you off because they'll have another few people who've got 5, and then they'll have more experienced people who do 10, and then the main event or whatever will do,
So you asked me about when did I make the decision to go all in with magic, right?
Yeah.
I never did finish that.
No, okay.
I just happened to look over here and I saw my tattoos right here. So after the magic convention in Taiwan, I knew that this was it. I knew it. And I said, there's no going back to living my previous life. And so I went to a tattoo shop and I tattooed the card, pips on the inside of my fingers. At that point, I knew it, but I want to be professional. So that way, if I go to shake your hand for a job, you can't see it. So it's hidden and they're there. And then I got bold and I said, I'm going to go all in, man. I got these in New York City. And so now it's like, fuck, I got a tattoo machine. I just tattooed. I just been crazy over here, man. You know.
So did you do those ones on your other hand yourself? Did you?
Yeah, I did. I did all these myself, man. Every one. And I put you right here on my middle finger.
Yeah.
You know, because you were very important, right? People thinking it means fuck you, but that's not what it means. I was going through such a bad part in my life, man. It was such a bad part. And I put you right there to remind myself every single day that you are important. And I've not told anybody publicly any of that.
Yeah, that's cool. If I had a tattoo machine and I was good at art, I would be covered in tattoos because
I didn't say I was good at art. You know, I just said I was.
You are. But yeah, you can see.
I didn't say I was good at it. I just said I was an artist.
Yeah, no, but you can see by the cover your designs. Did they not? No one.
Like maybe 3. I have a whole damn house full of them.
That's all right. Artists for you, though, isn't it? That's what I got to say.
Hell, I can give myself a tattoo right now if you want. I got my. No, I don't have any clean needles. Never mind.
No, that would have been a first as well.
I can do it with a dirty needle. I don't give a shit. I'll just tattoo Ace. Oh, that would be fucking good, dude. Where would I put it? I'd put it right here. No, that's too many fingers. I'd have to think about it, but I'd do it.
Yeah. Next time, definitely. To finish off this series, what I like to do is ask one question. For you, AJ, what is the meaning of life?
To be good, do good, say good, act good, and try to purify, man. Right here, I had a card tell me what I'm going to do, right? Podcast, edit, mail shirts, pick up shirts, do laundry, say grace, enjoy.
Beautiful. I have to do that too. I have to write down what I'm going to do because otherwise I end up getting distracted and I don't do it. But like, this is my thing. See what you just said there about like, do good, be good, etc. Like, if everybody thought like that, world's a better place, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, dude, like, I didn't think like that, a week ago.
Yeah,
I thought like that, 6 years ago. Bullshit gets in the way, life gets in the way. What it comes down to, man, is I had a nightmare, okay? And I never have nightmares. Usually when I go to sleep, I have a dream and I want to go back to sleep. And I wish that I was still in dream world because dream world is so much better than reality. I had a nightmare, like 2, 3, 4 nights ago. And for the first time, in a long fucking time, I woke up thanking God. Thank you that I'm alive. Thank you that that's not my reality. Thank you that my reality is this. So it's like, be gracious and be kind to people. And always say grace, man. I don't give a shit what you believe in. Sorry, I don't, it's not any of my business. But I know for me personally,
Amen. Be thankful. Be thankful for everything you've got, everything you've had, everything that you've got in your life. I don't think it's much to ask. Doesn't matter what you believe in or who you believe in or anything. At the end of the day, if you're thankful for what you have, what you have had in the past, then you're not going to spend too much of your time with negativity.
And that goes back to you, with you, being an athlete and then you said you have to walk with a cane.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know whenever it can be taken away, man. Even your very own breath that you take.
100%, mate. And as I get older as well, I'm 41 this year.
41, you're still a young gun, man.
Yeah. The problem is for me is I don't feel as young as I probably am because my physical health is kind of not great. But I do my best. I smile. I'm happy. I love doing this shit because
I'll tell you this, Si.
Yeah.
I've been on a few podcasts, right? I've not been on very many podcasts, but I have to say that this podcast that I'm on right now, Ace Podcast Nation or Ace Nation Podcast, whatever. I've seen 2 different ways. This is, it's It's good,
I
man.
appreciate that, my friend. I really do.
Because you're mature and you're real, and you're not all about fucking badgering for questions or badgering for answers. We can actually have a real conversation, and that's valuable, man.
Yeah, that's
So
what.
Thank you for having me on your show.
I not only appreciate your kind words, mate, but I appreciate you coming on anyway. I think it's important though. Like one of the things when I started doing podcasts was I didn't want to interview people. I wanted to speak to people and have a conversation.
Right.
And like, look, we could have kind of gone through your life and your career bit by bit, and I could have just asked you questions and questions and questions all the way through until we get to today, and then I'm sure that would have been fine. But I'd rather go off on tangents and talk about all sorts of stuff, and
that's why the podcast that we do is called Conversation with the Conjurer. It's conversation, It's like we've had some of the biggest names, in the magic, business for conversation. Not a fucking interview, because no one likes being interviewed. Leave the interviews for the damn, job fair or whatever, I just like to 100%. Meet people.
Yeah, and that's it, mate. And what the
so
other
let
thing
me ask you this. So let's change gears a little bit. Who's the biggest, the most well-known person you've had on your show so far?
I don't know. It depends. So, because I've had so many different shows, I've got so many different shows. So from the MMA and boxing, I had Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson on, which is quite big if you're an MMA fan, I think.
I'm not familiar now.
No, so but that's the thing. See, if you don't know MMA, it means nothing to people.
So I've noticed that you mostly interview athletes, though, right? Like I was looking at your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I do. So I do like a weekly MMA and boxing show on a Sunday night where we have a guest and we talk about all different things.
Well, how did I get in here in this mix? How did that happen?
Well, so this series, which is called My Story, I speak to anyone, not anyone, but like people from all different. So I've had
anyone, pretty much anyone.
Like Premier League footballers, fighters. We've had authors. We've had a couple of filmmakers, actors.
How did you find me though? All I know is you messaged me one day and you said, "Hey, you want to be on my show?" And I was like, "Sure."
I don't know, to be honest. I think I might have come across one of your videos on Instagram, possibly. I think, and then I just.
I know you messaged me on Instagram, but
yeah, I think I just came across one of your videos on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, he looks quite cool."
Nice
to get him on.
It's
because I like to vary up. See, I don't like to just have all the same people, like all footballers or all fighters.
So you're not completely specialized, in MMA and sports, so to say.
No. I am open to speaking to everyone. Yeah, you are the first magician.
Hey man, if you want to interview more magicians, dude, I have
I do. I've got a list of magicians who I want to speak to, but they never reply to my messages. So
shit. Who have you messaged?
Oh, I've messaged loads. I messaged Chris Ramsey, which I didn't expect.
Good luck at him, dude.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get him. No,
he probably has 6,000 unread messages. So good luck.
I know. That was back a while ago. I was just looking, but that guy who what's his name? I think you mentioned him earlier. Can't remember his name.
Eric Jones.
Eric Jones. Yeah, the one that was on Fool Us, wasn't it? Is that him?
He actually won. He actually was a fooler.
Yes.
What I can do is whenever I post this video, I can tag Eric Jones in the video if you want him on your show. I'm actually
I'd like to speak to him a lot. I'd like to speak to him. To be honest with you, I'm open to speaking to anyone who's got a good story or is entertaining or is just fun to talk to. Or
Pete Turner, he would be a good guest for you. I mean, you're Wales. He's from like the Bradford, Leeds area, wherever the hell that is in comparison to you.
Yeah,
most of the guys that I know in the magic, community, Daniel Rivington, he'd be a good one. Most of the guys that I know are actually from the UK, right there in Leeds, Bradford, right there in that area.
Great. Yeah. So is it Bradford and Leeds is quite a hotbed for magic then, is it?
I don't know, man. I'm just the redneck from Tennessee. I don't know how to mix. You know,
It's cool.
One of the bartenders at Ruskin called me a cousin from across the pond. So whatever.
Yeah, just good stuff. Just right. What I will do though, mate, I'm going to wrap up the recording now. Listen,
Right.
AJ, it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend. I've really, really enjoyed it.
It's been great.
We'll definitely get you back on and do something else anyway soon. Because I feel like we had a good chat, and I think we could do it again.
It was great,
We could
Simon.
talk about
Thank
all
you so
sorts of
much,
stuff.
sir. Hats off to you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, indeed, mate. I will. What I'll do is in the description for the episode, I'll put your YouTube channel, your podcast, your social medias, all that stuff. So anyone who comes to watch it can just click below.
I'm actually newly on Cameo. So if people want to
There
pay
we go.
$14, you can book me across the entire United States or the nation or the fucking globe, whatever. Wherever
There we
you're
go.
at, get me on Cameo. I'm great for parties. I'm great for weddings and funerals.
Yeah, funerals. Yes, I want a cameo for my funeral. I've just decided. I'm going to tell my wife later. But I'll put your cameo in there as well. I'll put all your stuff in description below.
I appreciate it.
And then people can just click. And so check that out. Check AJ's stuff out. Give him a follow on social media. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. And
also,
mine.
if anybody wants to buy any merch, right?
Yeah,
I've got hats coming out. Doing a Kickstarter. Kickstarter's about to launch. I got these shirts. Yeah,
beautiful. That logo is fire.
I got my cards coming out here soon. Got books on Amazon. So shameless self-promotion.
Absolutely. Gotta have it. AJ, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for joining me.
All right, Simon. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Cheers.